Right now on Golf Central, four-time major champion Rory McIlroy says no to the Olympics. You'll hear how players are reacting to his decision.
And coming up, we'll answer some of the questions swirling around the Zika virus with an expert. Should players and spectators be concerned?
Also ahead, Tiger Woods answers the tough questions on his health and his rehab. Find out Tiger's thoughts on his healing back.
Plus, we break down the favorites to win Tiger's tournament. It's all ahead on Golf Central.
Golf Central. Brought to you by Titleist.
Just 3 weeks ago, Rory McIlroy reaffirmed his desire to represent Ireland in the Olympics, but today McIlroy announced he has changed his mind. The four-time major champion, who's also number 4 in the world, is now the highest-ranked player to pull out of the Summer Games. In a statement released by his management company today, McIlroy said the following: "I've come to realize that my health and my family's health comes before anything else. Even though the risk of infection from the Zika virus is considered low, it is a risk nonetheless, and a risk I am unwilling to take. I trust the Irish people will understand my decision. The unwavering support I receive every time I compete in a golf tournament at home or abroad means the world to me." And with that, we say hello, Lisa Cornwell, Matt Adams, great to have you with us.
Pleasure.
And great to have you with us tonight on Golf Central. Before Rory, Adam Scott was the highest ranked player to take his name out of the Olympics. Coming up, world number 1 Jason Day. Well, he responds to Rory's decision.
About 90 minutes after McIlroy released his statement, the International Golf Federation reacted with this: "It is unfortunate that the Zika virus has led to Rory's decision to withdraw from the Olympic Games, knowing how much he was looking forward to taking part. As we have stated before, the Olympics is the world's greatest celebration of sport, and we remain excited about golf's return after a 112-year absence. It will truly be a special occasion for our sport, and we are confident that the 60 men and 60 women who will represent their respective countries will find it an experience they will cherish forever." Ty Vota, the IGF vice president, had this reaction on Morning Drive earlier today.
It's certainly something that we respect Rory's decision, but it is disappointing, and it's certainly not something that we're not used to. I mean, every week we have players who are eligible to play in a given tournament, even major championships, who choose for a variety of reasons not to play. And the fact is those tournaments go on and are successful. And we firmly believe that this will, as the IGF statement said, this will be continue to be a celebration of our sport on the world's biggest stage relative to sporting achievement. And it's going to be special for both the men and the women who participate.
We're joined now by Dr. Thomas Hospel, PGA Tour Medical Advisor and IGF Medical Commission Chairman. Doctor, thank you for joining us. If we may, let's start out with this. What exactly is the Zika virus?
Well, thanks, Matt. The Zika virus is a virus that's in the flavivirus family. Similar viruses include the dengue virus, yellow, and chikungunya. The Zika virus has been more prevalent in South America, more specifically the Brazil region, over the last year.
What is the likelihood then for golfers playing in the Olympic Games that they may contract the Zika virus?
Well, the risk of acquiring the Zika virus as we're heading into the winter months of Brazil are going down significantly. The Brazilian health minister recently announced that between the months of February and May, there has been a decrease in the number of Zika virus transmission of up to 87%. We believe that that number is going to continue to go down as we get closer to the Olympics.
So when you talk to golfers that are candidates for participating in the Olympic Games, representing their various countries, what are some of the concerns that they have expressed to you?
Well, first of all, the majority of the golfers and all the golfers that I've spoken with are very interested in wanting to go to the games. And so for them, it's more of just trying to understand what the risks might be for them and their family members. More specifically, as it relates to them, they want to know that their health won't be compromised. And then more importantly, for their family, they want to make sure that their family's well-being is considered as well.
Is there anything that the golfers can do then once they're in Rio to actually lower their risk?
Yes. So we have counseled and provided education to them regarding reduction of risk, most specifically things like wearing long-sleeved and trousers, wearing mosquito repellent on their skin, and maybe even considering pre-treating their clothing with permethrin to help prevent the Zika virus.
Is there an incubation period, doctor? Do the golfers have to be concerned for themselves or their families when they return back home?
So if they were to become infected with the Zika virus, mostly their symptoms would demonstrate after about 4 to 7 days. And if they were to acquire the virus, they would have symptoms for about a week, much like any other virus. And some of the symptoms that they may have include conjunctivitis, which is irritation or inflammation of the eyes, low-grade temperature, body aches, joint aches, so on and so forth. But again, much like most viruses, these symptoms would clear after about a week.
Thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you.
McIlroy is the 8th player to take himself out of the Rio Olympics. We mentioned Adam Scott at the beginning of the show, but Louis Oosthuizen and Charles Schwartzel, Mark Leishman, Miguel Angel Jimenez, Vijay Singh, Tim Wilkinson, they have also stated they will not participate. Let's hear from some other potential qualifiers.
I respect his decision because obviously it's a tough one going from trying to represent your country and trying to win a gold medal, but also understanding that, you know, it's a life decision that you have to make just in case there's a small percentage that it will happen, but it's a decision that some people aren't willing to take.
With his statement coming out, obviously, you know, all of us put family first, so if I feel like the risk is too much, then, you know, we won't be there. But like I said, it'd be amazing to be a part of the Olympics and to be down there. So it's a tough decision. It's not easy, and especially when you bring health into the equation.
I felt like it was in the best interest of my family to just avoid any chance of getting, you know, contracted with Zika and what that might do to Audrey or, you know, future children that we have. So yeah, it's a big decision, you know, obviously representing your country is very important, but you know, I feel like my family is a little bit more important.
It's a concern, and you know, we've gotten a lot of information so far, and I want to see how things progress in the next few months before I make any kind of decision. But you know, we both want to have a family at some point, and so the hardest part to me is we don't know the long-term effects.
It's definitely a health concern, but you know, the LPGA has done a great job, keep us informed, and you know, I'm kind of having the attitude of let's just cross that bridge when it gets there. I need to qualify first, so you know, I'm going to take all the necessary steps to be well informed on what is going on, and at that time I'll make the decision what's best for me and my family.
The 2016 Rio Olympics is just a little over 6 weeks away. On July 11th, the qualifying period for golf comes to a close on August 5th. It all begins with the opening ceremony. The men's portion of the golf competition gets underway on the 11th, with the ladies taking over August 17th. We'll have much more on Rory's Olympic decision later on Golf Central.
This week, the PGA Tour focus has shifted to the Congressional Country Club for the Quicken Loans National. Tiger Woods is tournament host, but not able to tee it up this year as he recovers from multiple back surgeries. George Savarikas is live at Congressional. George, Tiger met with the media this morning. What did he say about his health and prospective return?
Well, Matt, that's the question that everyone in the golf world wants the answer to. When will Tiger Woods return to action on the PGA Tour? Woods was very positive in his meeting with the media earlier today at Congressional, said all signs as far as his rehab are pointing in the right direction. Here's his take on where he is at in his rehab and what needs to happen in order for him to return.
I'm still progressing. I'm still getting stronger. I'm excited about what has transpired so far. Getting leaner. I've lost, you know, some body fat, but I kept the weight up, which is nice. I've gotten stronger. And it's just about recovering from day to day. As you were saying, that is anything bad happen, that's one of the things. I'm sore, and it's about trying to recover for the next day. And I just need to still get in, I guess, more golf shape, trying to hit more golf balls, things of that nature. So I'm still working on it. I'm still progressing so far, and I just wish I could, you know, be here and play and be out here and get it going again. Just miss playing. it's tough not playing my own event. I've done it in the past, unfortunately, and it never feels good. And it feels like I should be out there, I should be competing, should be giving everything I have, and then it doesn't feel good when I can't do that. And I have to sit on the sidelines and watch. When I want to be out there, I feel like I should be able to compete against these guys. I miss playing against these guys. I need to get to a point where if I want to be competitive out here, I need to practice and play. That's a totally different scenario. And I was telling Tom earlier is that I'm sneaking up on kind of both things, but the first thing first is I need to get to where I can pretty much do anything off the golf course first, and then challenge myself through practice, which I'm doing, and then I'll eventually build up to where I can play out here and compete.
I did ask Tiger Woods if he could give us a percentage as to where his health is at right now. He said, not really comfortable with doling out a percentage. He did say he can do day-to-day the little things at home with his kids. It's the big things, though, as far as playing 4 or 5 days in a row or 36 holes in a day that need to happen before he can tee it up again on the PGA Tour. Woods was also asked if he's ruled out any of the upcoming tournaments on the PGA Tour schedule, be it the WGC Bridgestone or the Greenbrier, any subsequent events coming up. He said no, so it's still a big question mark as to when the 14-time major champion will once again be back on the PGA Tour. Lisa?
It does continue to be a wait and see, George. Thank you very much. Tiger's had some lengthy layoffs throughout his career, but this is by far the longest. We last saw him in competition 304 days ago at the Wyndham Championship, where he did finish tied for 10th. In 2008, after winning the U.S. Open, it took him 254 days to return from that knee surgery. The other long period of downtime for Tiger was 143 days between winning the Australian Masters and returning with the top 5 in the Masters. Let's hear from Tiger Woods about where he wants to be when he does indeed return.
It's about, as you're saying, 4 or 5 days in a row. It's about me playing 36 holes, daily, on a daily basis, getting up to speed and playing. And I'm not quite there yet, and I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there as fast as I can, but I'm trying to do it right at the same time. And as you know, I've pushed through a lot of injuries and rehabs and before in the past, trying to do it correctly this time.
Welcome the guys in for the first time, Aaron Oberholzer, Trevor Immelman. Aaron, let's just start with you because we heard Tiger sort of talk about the timeline and drawing on from the past experiences. Although it still has to be hard not to want to jump out there, but he seems to be remaining patient through all of this.
He is, and I think that's the tact he has to take. I know, take it from a guy who's tried to come back from plenty of injuries. The last thing you want to do is rush yourself back, and Tiger has done that a couple of times before, and he's paid the price. I think that his best tact at this point is to do what he's doing, listen to his doctors, listen to his body, not bulldog through this rehab, because at 40, he'll be 41 at the end of this year, Trev, and he is going to, this is probably going to be his last good shot at getting a chance to win another major championship or win another golf tournament, so he needs to do this correctly.
Yeah, I mean, this has got to be, a real bittersweet time for him, Obviously bitter because, dominating and winning and competing, I mean, that's in his DNA. I mean, this guy is one of the most dominating athletes that the world has ever seen when he was in his prime. And but sweet, obviously, because he's getting to really spend some quality time with his kids back at home, really be a part of their growing up here at this point. And so I'm sure he's enjoying that part. But on some level, it's really got to be bugging him that he can't be out there competing with the guys.
It's interesting because even though while he's been gone, big hitters like Jason Day and Dustin Johnson, they've stepped up. Tiger said this morning that it doesn't intimidate him at all. He still feels like he can compete with the best in the world and ironed out exactly what it's going to take for him to get there.
I've gotten better. I've been able to hit shots. My numbers are good, off the tee, and that's one of the things I was worried about. I was going to lose distance, and I haven't done that, and I've actually gained a little bit, which is nice. So that's a positive. The game has changed so much. You see guys hitting the ball 320 yards in the air, routinely now. So I was just curious, how am I going to play going forward? Am I going to be one of those guys that didn't hit the ball very far and had to lay up on every single par 5? But I have enough speed now, and I've had more speed, which is nice, and hitting the ball a little bit further. So that's not a question. Now I just need to get to where strength-wise, that I can handle the workload of playing out here on a weekly basis, workload of practicing after rounds, not having to go, ice my back and all that kind of stuff. I need to get to where I can play 18 holes out here and go to the range for an hour and work on my game. And that's what I used to do. That's one of the reasons why I think I've had some success. I was able to, work on it during the week, and just not quite there yet.
It's funny to hear him talk about swing speed because that matters to him. When you see Dustin Johnson ripping it with 127-mile-an-hour swing speed, Tiger Woods wants to be there. He says that he can be there, that he's close. Does that need to be a focus right now?
Well, it's obviously something that he's interested in, and so I like hearing what his take on things are. I mean, when I greeted him at Augusta this year and we gave each other a hug, and looking at him in that picture right there, I mean, the guy's in great shape still, and even he referenced that he's leaner and he's been able to keep the muscle mass up, so he feels strong. But I just don't think that's ever going to be a problem for him. I think he has plenty of power in the tank. It's going to be about staying healthy and getting that iron game dialed in like he always used to. And then, at the end of the day, you got to make some putts.
4 knee surgeries, 3 back surgeries now. Like I said before, going on 41 years old. I don't think speed can be a priority at 41 years old when you've had that many surgeries, and especially with 3 on your back. I worry about him putting too much emphasis on hitting the ball a long way. I've been saying for the last 2 years that I believe he's going to have to at some point learn how to play small ball, learn how to get it around the golf course, and maybe instead of hitting it 300 to 320 yards, be okay with hitting it 285 to 295 yards. Look, the man is one of the greatest players the world's ever seen, if not the greatest player the world's ever seen. I think he can figure out how to do it with a 6-iron versus an 8-iron. I mean, every player loses distance as they get older. Tiger's still going to lose distance. He cannot be this married to it. Because I'm afraid that his body's going to break down sooner rather than later if he doesn't slow it down a little bit.
Tiger Woods in small ball, though.
It doesn't
register.
compute. Hey, but look at this. Michael Jordan had to turn around and change his game and get a fadeaway. He couldn't drive to the hole as much as he used to in his young age, and the comparisons are there. He needs to learn how to do the same thing, I believe.
A fadeaway with a 38-inch vertical, though, still works pretty well.
It does, but a fadeaway nonetheless.
Matt.
Tiger Woods is a 14-time major champion. Inbee Park is halfway there with 7 on the LPGA, but she won't be adding to that total in the U.S. Women's Open. The USGA announced Park will miss the championship due to a lingering left thumb injury. Park missed the cut in her last start, the KPMG Women's PGA Championship. Stay with us. We're talking favorites at the Quicken Loans National. The European Tour is in Germany for the BMW International Open. You'll hear from Sergio Garcia, fresh off a tie for 5th in the U.S. Open. Plus, the field is set in the LPGA's International Crown. Find out who's in and who's out. More Golf Central after this.
Golf Central is brought to you by the Titleist Pro V1 and Pro V1X. Make a difference in your game.